Welcome to my channel. My name is Maddie and today we're going to be talking about the disappearance of Kristin Smart. But while I've got your attention, if you would please hit the subscribe button and leave this video a like. If you like this video, it lets me know that you like these type of disappearances or like where is type videos. It means a lot to me. Let's get right into this. Kristin Smart disappeared on May 25th, 1996. She was a 19-year-old student attending the Polytechnic School of California State University. All of the people in Kristin's life said that she was a great person. She was very outgoing, very social. She was a swimmer and had lots of friends on the swim team. Kristin was very close to her family, and that's something that you should keep in mind while going through this case. She would call her family every day and just update them on how school's going, how her day went, that type of thing. The weekend that Kristin went missing, it was Memorial Day weekend, so for college students that was a lot of partying time because they had an extra day off of school. On that Friday, she called her parents and told them that she had some amazing news to tell them, but she didn't tell them on that phone call. She said that she would mention it later this weekend. However, her mom didn't hear from her the following Saturday, but it didn't worry her because she figured that time had just gotten away from her. Everyone knew that she partied and would go out and do fun things, but she wasn't a heavy drinker, didn't do anything crazy. Her family waited until Monday with still no call or text or heard anything from Kristin, so that's when they filed the police report as a missing person. On the night that Kristin went missing, she was planning on going to a frat party. However, all of her close friends didn't want to go or had studying to do or something along those lines. They just didn't end up going. However, she did have a few friends that weren't her super close friends that were still going, so she ended up going to the party anyway. Like I said, all of her friends said that she wasn't a heavy drinker. She didn't ever get so drunk that she was passed out or blacked out or didn't remember things, nothing like that. However, Kristin was found around 2 a.m. laying passed out drunk in someone's front yard around the frat. The two people that found her was Cheryl Anderson and Tim Davis. They both offered to walk her home, which is very kind of them because that's what you should do if you see someone that can't handle themselves and needs to go home when they're drunk and obviously can't take themselves back home themselves. The two of them were walking Kristin home when they met a guy, Paul Flores, and they didn't really know him, didn't really talk to him, but he just joined them on the walk. Once they got further down, Cheryl didn't want to walk her the rest of the way, and Tim had already left in the car. Cheryl didn't want to walk all the way to Kristin's dorm and then all the way back to hers, so Paul offered to walk Kristin to her dorm and he was just going to go back to his. Paul barely knew Kristin, maybe has said a couple sentences to her, but Kristin couldn't even walk straight. Paul mentioned that he had to hold her up pretty much the whole way because she couldn't even walk straight. He had to tell her which foot to step with when walking. According to Paul, he said that he dropped her off and went straight back to his room and nothing in between. Kristin's parents call her close friends on Monday wondering if they have heard from her, and that's when her friends realize that they haven't seen or heard from her all weekend. Like I said, on that Monday, they reported her as a missing person. However, the campus was hesitant to put up missing persons posters or announce it or send out an email type thing about Kristin's disappearance. The school said that since it was a holiday weekend, they figured that Kristin had gone on a mini vacation type thing and had left and just didn't tell anyone, which she would never do because she was so close to her family. Since the campus was no help to Kristin's disappearance, her dad personally went up to the campus and started putting up missing people posters to hopefully help influence the campus and helping them with the search and putting the word out there pretty much. It also took the police 3 days to file her as a missing person. On May 28th is when she was filed an official missing person, and all of Kristin's roommates, they went to her room and none of her important stuff was missing. Her phone, her wallet, her keys, everything was still in her dorm. So if she was going on a mini vacation like the campus had said, she would obviously take those things. However, since there was alcohol involved in this case, it does make it hard because, you know, alcohol affects the way that you think and feel, and people forget things. There's a lot going on. People aren't paying attention and fully aware. And since there was no weapon or body found, it made this a really difficult case to even try and get any type of evidence to push this case forward to find answers. However, once the police started doing research on Paul Flores, the man that said that he took her home and went back to his room, they found out that he is known for stalking a girl on campus previously. So all eyes are pointed towards him, obviously, but the police department unfortunately seemed to think differently. However, the girl that Paul was stalking before, never pressed charges, so it makes it even harder for the police to put anything against him since they have no evidence. About 1.5 months after Kristin was reported missing, they finally brought in dogs to the dorm. They started the dogs outside of the campus and they immediately led them to Paul's dorm. In their room, they had 2 beds on each side of the room, and the dogs immediately went to the left-hand side of Paul's room straight to his bed. The police took part of the mattress where the dogs led them, and they took that piece for evidence, and the rest they took out of the room to do another test to the dogs to see if they would still end up in that room. And they did. They again went straight to Paul's room, straight to his side on the left-hand side where the bed is. Paul's roommate says that Paul admitted to killing Kristin and moving her body to his mom's house. When police were questioning Paul, he also had a black eye and scratches all over his body. Paul claims that he got the black eye from his friend Jeremy when they were playing basketball, and it was his elbow hitting him in the eye. So obviously the police went to Jeremy to ask if this was true. Jeremy said that that was not true and that Paul already had the black eye before they played the game. So they went back to Paul and they asked him what actually happened, because obviously he lied. And he said that it was a lame reason, so he lied so that way he didn't sound like stupid or something. So his actual reason for having the black eye is that he was fixing something in his car and bent down and hit his eye on the steering wheel. Police began to search all of Paul's family's homes, and while they were doing that, they realized that his mom rented out a house. Half of the time she would stay there, and then half the time she would rent it out to people as a vacation home. Police got a witness statement from Paul's mom's neighbor, who said that she saw Paul and a friend like around the house super late at night, and it looked like they were digging holes and filling it with cement. The witness also said that they saw Paul and whoever that friend is lifting something heavy and putting it into the hole. That neighbor didn't tell anyone until a week later, because that is when Paul's mugshot was put up. Another woman in that neighborhood also said that she saw lots of construction going on during this week. In October, there was a renter that was renting out Paul's mom's house, and she was washing her car outside on the driveway and noticed a blue earring on the driveway. When police got that earring, there was a small bit of dried blood on that, and everyone who knew Kristin, like her parents, said that those were her favorite earrings and that those were most definitely hers. Police took the earring in for evidence, and somehow they threw it in a drawer just loose. They didn't have it in a bag or anything like that, and somehow the earring disappeared. On March 3rd, 1997, they brought dogs to Paul's house. The dogs led to the small garden area in the back. There was like a little bit of cement and plants on the side of the house. And then on the 4th, they hired a contractor to come and kind of survey the area and see what he thought about it. The contractor, Gary Mann, did say that it was very suspicious because there was pieces of concrete, the contractor, Gary Mann, did say that there was suspicious activity, but the police didn't bring the dogs back because they didn't want to have to pay for the potential damage of doing the radar stuff. The contractors would just have to drill a small hole all the way down to survey the soil and see if there was a dead body there. However, the police didn't want to do this, they didn't want to pay for it, so they didn't end up doing it or bringing the dogs back at all. Later on, they found out that Paul's mom did live at this house during the time of Kristin's disappearance. So they, in fact, could do a search on the house without having to file a whole bunch of different paperwork, which they were complaining about before, and that's why they didn't bring the dogs to the house. Gary, the contractor, came back and found lots of pieces of broken concrete, just like chunks of broken concrete all over the yard. And this made the police believe that the body was moved. The police also noticed a marking on the side of the house that looked like a bunch of soil was piled up against the house. Kristin's parents wanted to dig that up, obviously, because that looked suspicious. The police wouldn't do that because they, again, didn't want to pay for the potential damage of the concrete. Kristin's family finally just sued Paul's family for her death. Eventually, they ended up dropping the charges, but then Paul's family sued Kristin's family for emotional distress. In 2006, Paul got arrested for a DUI, which kind of explains that wasn't his first time dealing with the law. On September 6th, 2016, police did a hill excavation on the campus and areas around looking for remains. The police did find bones, but they were unable to connect it to Kristin's death. They didn't even know if the bones were human at that point. In September of 2017, they did say that they have new leads and it could help them in getting more answers towards Kristin's case. One good thing did come out of the case, and it was a law that was passed 4 campuses. I'm going to read that to you. The Kristin Smart Campus Security Act passed August 19th, 1998. Because of the slow response and mishandling of case on the campus, it pretty much makes them help. Requires all public colleges and all other publicly funded institutions to have their security service make agreements with local police departments about reporting cases involving or possibly involve violence against students, including missing students. Unfortunately, this is still an open case, but she was legally presumed dead in 2002. If you or anyone you know thinks that you might have information on this case at all, where she might be, anything about Paul, I'm gonna leave her missing persons picture right up here. And again, she was blonde, 6'1", and she would be about 34 now. And I'm going to leave the family website in the description. And if you want to get any more details or you want to help fund them or anything like that, I'll leave it down below. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm going to leave that right here. It's at Madilyn MONACO. Same on Twitter, same on here, you know the drill. Thank you so much for watching. Again, it means a lot if you guys subscribe and like this video. I love doing videos like this of missing people. It's what I want to do when I'm out of college. And also, if you have any cool cases that you want me to cover, leave them in the comments below too. I'm open to do any of them. Alright, thanks for watching. Peace.